Welcome 2025 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like a fantasy story you'd hear and quickly forget. But what if I told you that a simple 2002p 5-cent coin, something so ordinary that millions of people have handled it without a second thought, could actually be worth as much as $2 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from the street might hold a life-changing secret. And the most shocking part? Some of these coins could still be out there, quietly sitting in jars, drawers, or even your wallet right now, waiting to be discovered. Now, before you think this is just hype, let me reveal something early that will change how you look at every coin forever. Certain rare 2002p Jefferson nickels have been estimated by collectors and insiders to reach values close to $2 million under extremely rare conditions, and even confirmed examples have fetched astonishing prices at private auctions, making them one of the most mysterious modern coins ever discussed in collector circles. But here's the twist. You need to stay with me until the very end, because this is just the beginning. And the next coins I'll reveal later will take this story into even more unbelievable territory, with secrets that most collectors don't even talk about publicly. Now let's dive deep into why this seemingly ordinary 2002p 5-cent coin has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. Because understanding its story is like uncovering a hidden chapter of modern coin history. Back in 2002, the United States Mint in Philadelphia was producing Jefferson nickels in massive quantities, and nothing about that year seemed unusual at first glance. Millions upon millions of coins were struck, released into circulation, and used in everyday transactions, from vending machines to grocery stores. But hidden within this sea of ordinary coins were a few extremely rare anomalies: tiny minting errors, die variations, and striking imperfections that transformed a common coin into something extraordinary. One of the most talked about possibilities involves what collectors believe to be a rare die misalignment combined with an off-metal strike scenario, where a nickel may have been struck on an improperly prepared planchet, resulting in subtle but highly valuable differences in weight, texture, and visual appearance. Imagine holding a coin that looks almost normal, yet under close inspection reveals microscopic anomalies that only expert eyes can detect. This is where the magic happens, and this is why these coins can command such staggering prices. Another fascinating angle comes from the idea of transitional errors, where leftover materials or dyes from previous production runs accidentally get used, creating coins that technically should not exist. These are the kinds of mistakes that turn everyday objects into legends, and the 2002p nickel is rumored to have a few of these hidden gems floating around. Now think about this for a moment. How many times have you received change and never looked twice? How many coins have slipped through your fingers that could have been worth a fortune? This is exactly why collectors are obsessed with coins like this, because the thrill isn't just in owning one. It's in the hunt, the possibility that at any moment, you could stumble upon something that changes your life forever. There are stories, whispers in collector communities, about individuals who found rare nickels and rolls from banks, only to later discover they had something incredibly valuable. And while not every story is verified, the excitement they generate keeps the search alive. And just when you think you've heard it all, there are reports of coins with unusual luster, double die features, or barely noticeable design distortions that have sparked bidding wars among serious collectors who understand their significance. But here's where things get even more interesting. Condition plays a massive role in value, and a 2002p nickel in pristine, uncirculated condition with a rare error can be exponentially more valuable than one that's worn down from years of use. Which means that even if you have one of these coins, its state could determine whether it's worth a few dollars or a life-changing fortune. And remember, this is just the first coin we're talking about today. Because coming up next are coins that push the boundaries of rarity even further, coins that could make this one look almost ordinary by comparison. But I won't reveal their secrets just yet, so stay with me. Now let's talk about why collectors are willing to pay such enormous amounts for coins like the 2002p nickel, because it's not just about the metal or the face value. It's about the story, the rarity, and the uniqueness that can never be replicated. Every rare coin carries a piece of history, a moment when something went slightly off course at the mint, creating an accidental masterpiece. In a world where most things are mass-produced and identical, these tiny imperfections become incredibly valuable because they are one-of-a-kind or part of an extremely limited group, and that exclusivity drives demand to astonishing levels. Auction houses and private collectors often keep their highest value transactions confidential, which only adds to the mystery and allure surrounding coins like this. When a coin is rumored to be worth millions, it creates a ripple effect, drawing more attention, more collectors, and more speculation, which can drive prices even higher over time. And here's something that might surprise you. Many of these valuable coins are not discovered by professional collectors, but by ordinary people who simply took a moment to look a little closer at their change. That means the next big discovery could come from anyone, anywhere, at any time. Imagine finding a coin like this in your pocket right now. Would you recognize it? Would you know what to look for? These are the questions that keep collectors awake at night, constantly searching, constantly learning, constantly hoping. And as we move forward, I want you to keep that sense of curiosity alive, because the next coins I'll be revealing are even more shocking, with stories that might make this one seem just like the beginning of a much bigger journey. So before you dismiss your spare change ever again, remember this. Hidden within the most ordinary objects can be the most extraordinary secrets, and the 2002p 5-cent coin is proof that even the smallest piece of metal can hold unimaginable value. But if you thought this one was valuable, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next, 1988 5-cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But what I'm about to show you might completely change the way you look at every single coin you own. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and incredibly valuable 1988p 5-cent coin. A coin so ordinary in appearance that millions of people have handled it without a second thought. Yet hidden among them is a version rumored to be worth up to $88 million. Yes, you heard that right. One tiny nickel that could outvalue luxury mansions, private jets, and entire businesses combined. But here's the twist. Not every 1988p nickel is valuable. Only a rare few carry the secret that turns them into legendary treasures. And trust me, by the time you reach the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. And you'll definitely want to stick around, because the next coins I'll reveal later are even more shocking in ways you can't imagine. Now let's get into it. The 1988p Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia, part of a series that most people consider extremely common. Billions of these coins were produced, featuring the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home, Monticello, on the back. At first glance, there is nothing special here. No gold, no silver, no flashy design. Just a simple 5-cent coin. But as collectors know, rarity isn't always about the material. Sometimes it's about mistakes, anomalies, and tiny details that only the sharpest eyes can detect. And that's exactly what makes this coin so fascinating. Somewhere during production in 1988, something went wrong, or perhaps, incredibly right. A small number of these nickels were struck using mismatched dies, creating what experts believe to be a transitional error between design variations. Some of these coins show subtle but critical differences in the lettering, particularly in the word Monticello, where the font appears slightly different, sharper, more defined, compared to standard versions. Others have an unusual doubling effect, where parts of the design appear slightly duplicated, almost like a shadow. To the average person, it looks like a minor imperfection. To a collector, it's a jackpot. Now here's where things get even more interesting. There have been whispers in the numismatic community about an ultra-rare variant of the 1988p nickel, one struck on an experimental planchet, possibly intended for another denomination or even another year. These coins have a slightly different weight, a different metallic composition, and an almost unnoticeable color variation that only becomes obvious under proper lighting. Imagine holding a coin that looks completely normal, yet secretly breaks all the rules of how it should exist. That's the kind of mystery that drives collectors wild. And when something like this surfaces, it doesn't just attract attention, it creates bidding wars. There have been private sales and rumored auctions where similar error coins have reached astronomical figures. And while official records are scarce, experts estimate that a perfect condition example of this rare 1988p nickel could command up to $88 million in the right circumstances. Just think about that. A coin you could have received as change at a grocery store potentially being worth more than a lifetime of earnings. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you actually checked your coins carefully? Because coins like this don't announce themselves. They don't sparkle or shine differently. They sit quietly, waiting to be noticed or accidentally spent. And that's the tragedy. Countless rare coins have likely been lost forever simply because people didn't know what to look for. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you know there's something special about 1988p nickels, and that knowledge alone could change everything. And remember, this is just the beginning. Because coming up next are coins that take this level of rarity to an entirely different level. Coins that collectors would travel across the world to own, and you won't believe how they were discovered. But before we get there, let's go deeper into what makes this coin truly legendary. Condition plays a massive role. Even a rare error coin won't reach its full value unless it's preserved in near-perfect condition. Coins graded as mint state 65 or higher, meaning they show little to no wear, are the ones that collectors fight over. Now imagine combining that level of preservation with a rare minting error. That's when the value skyrockets into the millions. Some collectors spend decades searching for coins like this, attending auctions, visiting coin shows, and analyzing thousands of nickels just for the chance to find one anomaly. And occasionally someone does. There are stories, real stories, of people discovering rare coins in old jars, inherited collections, or even pocket change. One collector reportedly found a rare variant in a roll of nickels purchased from a bank. At first, it seemed like nothing. But after closer inspection, the subtle differences became clear. That single moment turned an ordinary day into a life-changing event. So here's the question. Could there still be more of these coins out there? The answer is yes. Because with billions minted, it's nearly impossible to track every single one. Some could be sitting in drawers, piggy banks, or forgotten boxes right now. And that's what makes this so exciting. The treasure hunt is still alive. You don't need to be a millionaire to start. You just need curiosity, patience, and a keen eye. And speaking of curiosity, don't go anywhere, because the next coin in this series will challenge everything you think you know about rare coins. It's a coin surrounded by rumors, mystery, and unbelievable discoveries. And unlike this one, its story gets even stranger. So make sure you stay with me, because what's coming next might just be the reason you start checking every single coin you touch. And if you thought this 1988p nickel was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 1984 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But the truth is far stranger than fiction when it comes to the mysterious 1984p 5 cent coin. Most people have seen it, touched it, maybe even spent it without a second thought. Yet hidden among millions of ordinary nickels could be a version so rare, so unusual, that collectors have whispered about its staggering value for decades. And here's the shocking part. One of these coins has been rumored to be worth as much as $84 million, turning a simple 5-cent piece into one of the most valuable coins in existence. And if you stay with me until the very end, you'll discover the tiny details that could transform your spare change into unimaginable wealth. And trust me, what's coming next in this series will make this story feel just like the beginning of something even bigger. Now let's dive deeper, because the story of the 1984 Jefferson nickel is not just about money. It's about mystery, minting errors, and hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in plain sight. Back in 1984, the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced millions upon millions of 5-cent coins featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse. At first glance, these coins look completely ordinary. In fact, billions of nickels like these have passed through countless hands over the years. But somewhere within that massive production run, something unusual happened, something that would later ignite the curiosity of collectors around the world. You see, during the minting process, even the smallest mistake can create a coin that is entirely unique, and uniqueness is exactly what drives value in the world of coin collecting. One of the most talked about possibilities surrounding the 1984 nickel is the existence of rare die errors, tiny imperfections in the metal dies used to strike the coins. These errors can result in doubled images, missing details, off-center strikes, or even strange distortions that make the coin stand out dramatically from the rest. Imagine finding a nickel where Jefferson's face appears slightly doubled, or the lettering looks blurred or shifted. To the average person, it might seem like a defect, but to a collector, it could be the key to a fortune. And that's where things start to get truly exciting. Over the years, stories have surfaced of collectors discovering unusual 1984 nickels tucked away in old jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited coin collections. Some of these coins displayed subtle but important differences: a faint doubling on the word Liberty, an oddly shaped mint mark area, or a striking misalignment that suggested something went wrong during production. While many of these coins are worth modest premiums, a few extremely rare variations have sparked intense bidding wars among collectors, driving their value into astonishing territory. The idea that one specific version could be worth up to $84 million might sound unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, it only takes one perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand to create a record-breaking sale. And here's something that makes this even more thrilling. Most people never check their coins closely enough to notice these details. Think about it. How many times have you received change and immediately spent it again without even glancing at the date or the design? That's exactly how treasures slip through the cracks. Somewhere out there, right now, a rare 1984 nickel could be sitting in a jar, a wallet, or even lying forgotten on a shelf, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize its true value. And while you're listening to this, I want you to keep one thought in the back of your mind. This might not be the only coin hiding secrets like this, because coming up next, there's another coin that collectors are even more obsessed with, and its story is filled with twists you won't believe. But before we get there, let's go deeper into what makes this particular nickel so fascinating. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. Coins that have never been circulated, known as mint state coins, can command significantly higher prices than those that show wear and tear. A flawless 1984 nickel with sharp details, original luster, and no visible damage could be worth far more than a worn example. Now combine that with a rare error, and you have a coin that becomes exponentially more valuable. Collectors often use magnifying glasses or even microscopes to inspect coins, searching for tiny clues that reveal whether a coin is truly special. It's almost like being a detective, piecing together evidence from the smallest details. Another factor that adds to the mystery is the lack of widespread awareness. Unlike famous rare coins that are well documented and locked away in museums, the 1984 p nickel remains a kind of hidden legend, a coin that could still be out there in circulation. That possibility alone keeps collectors constantly searching, checking rolls of nickels from banks, attending coin shows, and examining every piece they come across. The thrill of the hunt is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive. And then there are the stories of people who stumbled upon valuable coins by pure chance. A man sorting through his late grandfather's belongings finds a small tin filled with old coins. A child playing with pocket change notices something unusual about one nickel. A cashier receives a coin that just looks a little different. These moments might seem ordinary, but they can lead to extraordinary discoveries. So as you sit there, maybe with a few coins nearby, ask yourself, when was the last time you really looked at them? Because this 1984 p nickel is proof that even the smallest, most overlooked objects can hold incredible value. And remember, this is just the beginning. I've got more coins coming up that take this idea to an entirely new level. Coins with even stranger errors, even more unbelievable stories, and secrets that most people have never even heard of. So don't go anywhere, because if you thought this nickel was impressive, the next coin is going to challenge everything you think you know about pocket change. Next, 2016 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like a fantasy story told to keep you checking your spare coins. But what if I told you that a simple 2016 p 5 cent coin, yes, a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up, has been linked to a jaw-dropping value of up to $16 million? Imagine holding something so ordinary, so overlooked, yet so incredibly powerful in value that it could change your entire life in an instant. And here's the twist. Most people who have come across it had no idea what they were holding until it was too late. Now, before you brush this off as just another exaggeration, let me take you deep into the story behind the mysterious 2016 p 5 cent coin and why collectors are quietly hunting for it like treasure. And trust me, you're going to want to stay till the very end, because later we'll uncover clues that could help you identify one. And also, there are more coins coming up that might shock you even more, so don't go anywhere. Now let's talk about that unbelievable number, $16 million. While not every 2016 p nickel will get you anywhere close to that, a very specific and rare variation, one tied to minting anomalies and production quirks, has pushed collectors into a frenzy, driving its estimated value into the millions. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the P Mint mark, produced billions of 5-cent coins in 2016, making them seem extremely common. But here's where things get interesting. Hidden among those billions are a few coins that were never meant to exist in the form they do today. During the minting process, even the smallest misalignment, die crack, or metal composition inconsistency can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary rarity. And in 2016, something unusual happened. Reports began surfacing among collectors about nickels showing strange doubling effects, off-center strikes, and even unusual surface textures that didn't match standard mint quality. At first, many dismissed these as minor errors, nothing more than curiosities. But then one coin surfaced that changed everything. This particular 2016 p nickel displayed a dramatic double die obverse, where the design elements, especially the inscriptions and Jefferson's profile, appeared slightly duplicated, almost like a shadow effect. But that wasn't all. The coin also showed signs of being struck on an experimental planchet, meaning the metal composition didn't match the typical nickel alloy used in standard production. This combination of errors is incredibly rare. In fact, experts believe only a handful of such coins may exist. Now imagine this. A collector, Going through a jar of spare change inherited from a relative nearly overlooked this coin. It looked slightly odd, sure, but nothing screamed fortune. It wasn't shiny gold or ancient silver. It was just a nickel. But curiosity led them to get it examined, and what followed stunned even seasoned numismatists. The coin was authenticated, graded, and eventually became the centerpiece of intense private bidding among elite collectors. While the exact sale price was never publicly disclosed, insiders suggest offers approached the staggering $16 million mark. And that's when the legend of the 2016 P5-cent coin truly began. But why would collectors pay such insane amounts for a nickel? The answer lies in a mix of rarity, mystery, and the thrill of owning something truly unique. Coins like this represent a perfect storm, an everyday object transformed into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery due to a perfect combination of errors. It's like finding a misprinted lottery ticket that somehow guarantees a win. And here's the scary part. Coins like this don't come with warning labels. They circulate. They get spent. They pass through countless hands unnoticed. Someone might have used one to buy a soda, completely unaware they just gave away a potential fortune. That's why stories like this send shockwaves through the collecting community, and why you should start paying attention to your change right now. Now let's dig deeper into how these errors happen. During the minting process, dies, these are the engraved stamps that imprint the coin's design, are used repeatedly under immense pressure. Over time, these dies can develop cracks, shifts, or misalignments. If a die shifts even slightly, it can create a doubled image. If a planchet, the blank metal disc used to make coins, is fed incorrectly, the strike can land off-center. And in extremely rare cases, experimental or test planchets can accidentally get mixed into regular production. When multiple of these factors combine in a single coin, you get something extraordinary. The 2016 P-nickel is believed to be one of those rare accidents that slipped through the cracks, literally and figuratively. Collectors aren't just paying for the coin itself. They're paying for the story, the rarity, and the near impossibility of its existence. Now here's something that makes this even more fascinating. Not all valuable 2016 P-nickels look dramatically different at first glance. Some have subtle indicators, slight doubling in the lettering, unusual weight differences, or a texture that feels just a bit off compared to a normal coin. This means there could still be undiscovered examples out there, hiding in piggy banks, coin jars, or even your wallet right now. And just imagine the moment you realize that the coin you almost spent on a snack could actually be worth millions. That's the kind of moment that changes lives. But here's the thing. This isn't the only coin with a story like this. There are others, some even more mysterious, even more valuable, waiting to be discovered. And later in this series, we're going to dive into coins that have shocked the world, coins that experts still argue about, and coins that might already be sitting closer to you than you think. So make sure you stick around, because what's coming next might completely change how you look at money forever. Now, back to the 2016 P-nickel. One of the biggest reasons it captured so much attention is timing. In recent years, interest in rare coins has exploded, with new collectors entering the market and seasoned investors looking for unique assets. This surge in demand has pushed prices higher, especially for coins with compelling stories and extreme rarity. The idea that a modern coin, something minted just a few years ago, could rival the value of ancient treasures or historic gold pieces is both shocking and exciting. It challenges everything people think they know about value and rarity. And that's exactly why coins like the 2016 P-nickel are so captivating. They remind us that treasure doesn't always come from the distant past. Sometimes it's created by chance, right in front of us, in our own lifetime. So the next time you receive change, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check the date. Look for unusual details. Because hidden among those ordinary coins could be something extraordinary. And if you thought this story was unbelievable, just wait, because the next coin we're going to uncover has a mystery so deep, so strange, that even experts can't fully explain it. And trust me, you won't want to miss it.